If you don't accept that, you will be adopting its negation.
Sure.
Okay, now, do you accept its negation?
Yeah, I accept its negation, of course, yeah.
What's the argument for that?
Well, before I give my argument, let me ask one more question.
No, we're not playing this game, okay? I'm going to show you how you don't follow your own standard. You think you're real cutesy when you go, oh, so you don't have an argument for that. Okay, so either you hold either you hold to the first premise or you hold to the negation of the first premise. Do you insist that there needs to be an extrinsic argument for premise one?
No, I'm not saying there has to be. I'm just asking you if you have one. It
Yeah,
seems like the answer is no.
I told you the rationale is internal rather than external.
I don't know what it means for an argument to be
you
contained in a
know what?
proposition.
You know what? You're now blocked.
I take an argument to be a sequence of premises and a conclusion,
sir, listen
right? So
to me,
it wouldn't be contained in a proposition.
Shut up for a second, or I'm going to block you. Okay. Now mute your microphone. Unmute your microphone. Now, I've been doing this for 14 years. I know exactly what you're doing. Okay. Right, and you're ignoring what I'm saying. All right, I have to go AFK for about 2 minutes. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, car sounds like. If anyone else wants to step in while he's gone.
Like within the first proposition, we have a scriptural verification principle.
Because I take an argument to be a sequence of premises and a conclusion.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't know what it means to say a proposition contains the argument for it. I don't even know what that's supposed to be.
We're arguing about verification principles are included in the argument.
I don't even know why you're bringing up verification principles.
Because that's what we're talking about. How do you verify if something's true?
Like, let me give you an example. Say we have a proposition like Socrates is mortal, right? Now, an argument for that could be all men are mortal, and Socrates is a man, so he's mortal, right? That could be an argument for it. But what would it mean to say that the argument is contained in the proposition Socrates is mortal? I just don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Exactly.
Because we're arguing about verification principles themselves. The scriptural verification principle is included in the first premise of tag. Okay, so like you're basically asking how do you verify a verification principle? Does that make sense?
No, but wait, are these lives recorded? Are Darth's live streams recorded?
And they just ignore what you say to them. It's funny. Do you think
I said no.
Ignoring what people do you think ignoring what people present to you makes you look good?
No, I said no, it does not make sense to me. But are these live streams recorded?
Well, then why are you asking us to verify our verification principle?
Never mind. I got it wrong.
Why are you asking that? If that doesn't make sense to you, then why are you asking the question?
Asking you for an argument for declaring that God is the necessary condition for intelligence.
We're asking to. Does that sound like
you don't have an argument for
person? Does that sound something like an intelligent person would do, Cartesian?
Say you don't have an argument for the question.
Cartesian. How do we prove a verification principle?
I'm not even sure I understand what you mean by verification principle. There are things that typically designates in philosophy, but it seems like you're using a different one.
How do we verify if something's true? Wouldn't we use a verification principle?
But what do you mean by because like verification principle has it in philosophy, but I'm not sure how you're using it.
So do you process information more slowly than like your
For
peers?
example, in philosophy, like in this kind of like era of the logical positivist, the verification principle would be something like this: that which is not empirically verifiable in principle is meaningless. That might be what the verification principle is. I'm not quite sure what you have in mind when you mention it.
Mars, this is why I don't talk to him, because he's not an honest interlocutor. He's here in bad faith.
I don't know why people want to debate with him. I mean, like, shouldn't you learn what words mean before you debate? Like, why do we come to the debate?
How it's used in
Hold on a second. Is this Cartesian?
This is
so you came on here with a different username and account, knowing that I blocked your other account.
Yeah, you.
So we have a similar.
So you're not Cartesian.
Cartesian.
Darth, this is the same guy, whether it's a different account or not. This is okay. Well, it doesn't matter what
I spoke to Darth yesterday. We had a good discussion.
Yeah, you guys had a discussion the other day, and you're doing exactly today. You're doing today what you did the last time you guys talked, and that's literally why.
I'm just trying to figure out from Darth. What does it mean to say a proposition contains its argument internally? I don't even know what that's supposed to mean. Like, what do you mean by that?
The proposition itself justifies itself.
Okay, but are we using the same definition as argument? I'm taking an argument to be a sequence of premises.
Look, I'm really beginning to believe that you're a bald-faced liar, that you are Cartesian. The fact of the matter,
everybody in the comments is saying I'm not Cartesian.
Listen, Ark, I'm used to this philosophy speak dodging tactic. It doesn't work with me. It's not going to work with me at all. What we're saying is, do you accept, is it your position that no proposition can be self-authenticating and verifying without
propositions?
Look, if you fucking overtalk me again, I'm gonna ban you. Now, is it your position that no proposition can be self-authenticating?
No, I take self-authenticating like self-evident.
Good. I am telling you that the first premise is self-justifying on its own terms. You will either accept that or not. Are we clear on that before we move on?
Yes, I think I understand what you're saying there. But my point is that, like, when I say something is self-authenticating, that determines whether there's an argument for it or not.
You know what? You're done. You're blocked. You're done.
You have an argument for P1?
Darth, the people in the chat.
Look.
Wait, but Darth, do you have an argument that he's the necessary precondition?
You want me to block him?
Okay, I just blocked him. He's done. He won't be back up under this account. So what he's doing is he's yes.
The people in the chat were lying to you when they were saying it's not Cartesian. That is Cartesian from Discord.
So he was lying. You see what what a lying piece of shit.
And that's why I was saying to Mars when you were gone a minute ago, Darth,
this is why this is why I have his account blocked. And this goes to show you the fact that he's lying, that he's Cartesian and he's using a different name and I didn't recognize his voice. Some people's voices I recognize, some I don't. Everybody is better or worse at recognizing voices.
How could you not recognize a voice like this? You didn't recognize this voice?
Well, the point is, okay, so you recognize his voice, I don't, okay? Now, the point is this. This little piece of garbage is lying about who he really is, even in the face where he's been called out. And this is what he's doing with his little verbal gymnastics, okay? He's made it very clear that he doesn't reject or he doesn't believe that there is no self-authenticating proposition, that he allows for the possibility of one or more self-authenticating propositions. So if a proposition is self-authenticating, it requires no external justification. And yet what he's doing is he keeps on going, yeah, but what's the external justification? We're saying the proposition itself in terms of its content is self-explanatory and self-justifying, requiring no external justification. But then his attitude is, but what's the external justification? And what he's trying to do, arbitrary would mean there would be no reason for the proposition. We're saying that the proposition is grounded by its own internal content and to the impossibility of its denial. You see, this is why. See, now his second account is blocked. This is why I blocked it. This is why I blocked his first account, because he's doing the same shtick that he did before.
Were you listening when I was talking to him? How I was cashing the point out to him about the verification principle? Did you listen to that, or did you not hear that?
Yeah, he has the gift of the gab, but he's just like the Angstrike crew, and that's why I blocked his account. And by the way, this little piece of garbage has deliberately come into other streams where I'm debating and dialoguing.
Oh, we can't hear you.
All right.
Yo. Y'all let me in here.
Yeah, welcome. Darth, I think he's having a connection.
Oh, okay. Yeah, never mind. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing? I'm doing fantastic.
Right, it should be.
Now we can hear you well. Yeah, now we can hear you.
Notice that Cartesian, that lying little piece of garbage, he was simply trying to wiggle around and saying, oh, so there's no argument for it. No, the argument is internal rather than external.
Guys, hold on. All you four under me, you guys are all for Darth's argument here?
We're all for what?
They're all members of the board of directors of the internet.
Are you going to say that's going to be like
talking about the prerequisite for knowledge? You can't.
I'm just curious. What does he mean by axiom here?
Right. Axiom, it kind of depends. It's going to be a self-evident truth.
Bro, monkeyboy is literally a sophist. He blocked because he
I'm asking what he means. What do you mean by
axiom? It's going to be a self-evident truth. Yeah.
No, by Jimmy's lights.
Oh, bro, I can only dream, bro.
I'm using axiom as a starting point for system building.
Who's the atheist?
Wait, Jimmy, what do you consider
a starting point for system building?
That's not an
axiom. Do you guys believe all axioms are self-evident?
Well, I'm not sure what you mean by self-evident, but you're just saying.
I don't believe in what do you mean? Because I don't agree with the system at all.
So what do you mean by?
Wait, this is just like presuppositionalism, bro.
Yeah, it's presuppositionalism because that's the method of the church fathers. You can't argue theism or Christianity without using presuppositions.
No, I don't like presuppositionalism because it just like sounds idiotic. Like, well,
you don't like it because it refutes your system unless you're Orthodox.
My system? I'm Eastern Orthodox, bro. I'm baptized.
Then you don't agree with your system. You're just
When you talk
baptized.
about
I don't have to be a presuppositionalist. This is
you don't
like Jay
represent.
Dyer, like idiocy, bro. What do you mean?
You think presuppositionalism started with Jay Dyer? So
I'm
you
saying
haven't
it's Jay Dyer, like idiocy. I don't have to hold to presuppositionalism.
Yeah, you do. That's what the method.
Okay, so like it's dogmatic that I must hold to
Go read St.
presuppositionalism.
Isaac the Syrian's theory.
Wait, is it dogmatic? It's not. So what are you yapping about here?
Okay, even if it's not dogmatic, your system becomes unjustified, even if you're orthodox.
Even know
I don't have to hold to presuppositionalism, bro. I just find it goofy.
So look,
Do
when
you
you
believe
say
in self-evident truths? Yes or no?
wait, when you say that you're going to be unjustified, what do you mean by justification there?
A valid, coherent reason to believe X.
And is that just taken to be an argument in support of like some proposition?
Like, are you saying, am I making that an argument for the proposition?
I'm asking you what you mean by that. Is what you mean just an argument in light of the proposition?
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't know where. Okay, so you're saying that if you have this view, you can't have an argument supporting the view? Why would you say something like that?
Because in order to make an argument, you have to know X is true. You can't have justified true beliefs in a possibility of knowledge.
That's just wrong. To have an argument for a proposition, you must know the proposition is true.
No, that's just, bro, that's like the yo.
You're just saying silly stuff.
At all, you have to presuppose the Eastern.
Wait, you said
for any proposition.
You just said to have an argument for a proposition, you must know the proposition.
Do arguments require knowledge?
That is so dumb, bro.
Require knowledge?
No, an argument doesn't require knowledge.
So words mean things. Do you know that words mean things when you make an argument?
Wait, now you're just equivocating on knowledge. Are you talking about acquisition?
No, any knowledge at all. In order to make an argument, you have to have knowledge.
Well, yeah, in some sense, yeah, it's required. You have knowledge.
In any sense, you need knowledge.
Yes, in some given sense, yes, you must have knowledge.
So what's the prerequisite for knowledge?
I'm not sure what that's asking.
Yeah, what does that even mean?
Are you just asking for the
How
theory
is
of
knowledge
knowledge?
possible? What's the precondition for the possibility?
Wait, knowledge isn't a proposition. So when you say knowledge is possible, I'm not sure what that's saying.
What does that
Are you
even
saying
mean,
how is
bro?
it possible agents know things?
Yeah, what's the preconditions for the?
Well, it's logically possible because to say that there exists some agent such that an agent has knowledge doesn't entail a contradiction. There's nothing about nomic laws that preclude agents from having knowledge. So at least under those two modalities,
you're making more
it's
true
possible.
claims, and I'm asking for the preconditions for that true claim.
I'm not sure what you're asking about preconditions. If you're just asking what do I mean
You know
when
what
I
I'm asking
say
because
something is logically possible.
Don't play dumb and don't be a sophist.
When you say
Wait, Jimmy, what do you mean?
I don't know.
bro?
You're calling me a sophist like I've done anything fallacious, right? I'm just asking what you mean because that's unclear to me. I don't know why me doing an analysis of the terms you're using is somehow like errored reasoning
Because
to
I've argued
actually
tag
understand
with
what you're
you.
saying.
You're playing dumb. I've argued tag with you. And you
But
blocked me.
when I argued tag with you, I showed you how the argument was question begging, and you didn't have an argument in light of P1. Okay, then give the tag.
I told you it was a.
Your argument was if and only if God, then knowledge.
That wasn't my
knowledge,
argument.
therefore God. And I asked,
It's
what's
not
the
my
argument for the first premise? Then you said the
That wasn't my
impossibility
argument.
of the
This is what I'm
contrary.
talking about.
And I
This
said
is
that's
what I'm
just
talking about.
repeating the
This is what I'm
biconditional
talking
statement.
about. This dude's
I said, what's the
dishonest.
argument?
This dude's
And then you
dishonest.
wanted to
It's
compare
not an if
worldviews
statement.
and say
It's
that
not an
God
if
is the
statement.
prerequisite,
It's not an if
which was
statement. It's
just
not an if
repeating the
statement.
claim.
It's a preconditional statement.
A
Precondition is not the same as if statement.
preconditional statement is a biconditional statement.
Bro. One
That's
at
just a
time,
biconditional statement.
One at a time, dude.
It's not a
What the hell are you saying, bro?
biconditional is affirming P and Q, like Q therefore P and P therefore
What?
Q.
No, that's a conjunction. What are you? A biconditional is if and only if P then Q. If you want to say that God is the precondition, if you want to say God is the precondition for knowledge, that means that every possible world there's knowledge, there's also God. So if and only if knowledge exists, God exists.
What is a biconditional statement?
A biconditional statement is when the antecedent and consequent are true at every row of the truth table.
That they both affirm one another, right?
I don't know what that means. They affirm
Like
one
P
another.
therefore
If you're
P
just
and P
if
therefore
what
P.
you're saying is that each entails the other, then yeah.
Yeah, and that's not my argument.
Wait, so you're not saying that if and only if God then
I've
knowledge?
said 40 times that's not my argument. What's wrong with you?
So do you think? Wait, so I'm going to clarify. Do you think it's possible I have knowledge and there's not a God?
No.
Okay. Do you think it's possible God exists and I don't have knowledge?
Yes.
Okay. So do you think that's possible?
Yes. That's why I told you 40 times that wasn't my argument. You don't listen because you're so.
Wait. So when you say it's impossible that I know without God, what's the argument for that?
That God serves as the necessary precondition for knowledge.
That's just repeating the claim, right? That's just to say that under no other conditions other than the existence of God is knowledge made possible, right? So all you're saying again is God is necessary for there to be knowledge. I'm asking what's the argument for that?
The argument for premise one, that God serves as a necessary precondition, is A or not A, not A therefore A.
Okay, and what's the argument for not A?
The impossibility of the contrary.
Okay, and
So
what's the
you have
argument
to
the
pose a
contrary
worldview.
is impossible?
You now have to pose a worldview.
No,
That's
not. No, you have to give an argument for the premise. When you say not A, right? You said the supporting reason to believe not A is that A is impossible, which just repeats not A, right? So what's the argument?
That's not the same.
Wait, what's the argument that the contrary is impossible?
A is not equal to A. They aren't identical. You should know that, actually.
Not A and not A are identical, yes.
No, I said A and not A aren't identical.
Look, what's the argument that the contrary is impossible?
How do you demonstrate impossibility except by
that's a question. That's a question. Just give the argument.
Because it's stupid to say you need an argument to demonstrate impossibility.
Well, yeah,
something isn't possible.
You need an argument in light of that claim to be justified, right?
So now you need to pose a worldview.
Why would I have to do that? You're supposed to give an argument. Look, suppose you're in an empty room with no one to speak with to compare a worldview. If you're justified in the claim that it's only possible under the view the Christian God exists, that there's knowledge, then what's not required is that you investigate the competing worldview of any agent, right? That means you already have reasons accessible that you should be able to communicate, and that would be in the form of an inference, right? So when you say not A, or the impossibility of the contrary, that claim is not justified by showing another person's worldview is false, because what's possible is that another person's worldview is false, and you're also not justified in the claim. It's like if someone says the claim, like I say that grilled cheese is on the table, and I should know that another guy's worldview is false because he believes in unicorns. It doesn't then justify the claim that there's a grilled cheese on the table, right? So what's the argument that the contrary is impossible? I'm not going to give you no worldview.
The reason
just give the argument. Just give the argument. Okay.
I am. So the reason we come to this argument is at looking through any contemporary or even ancient philosophy.
I'm not asking you that about the history of how you come to the argument. I'm just asking for the justification. The contrary is impossible.
Any system built upon the starting point as man fails to give justification at the second order for the possibility.
No. Look, I'm just trying to get the argument that the contrary is impossible.
Pose a worldview, dummy.
Wait, did you understand how I explained that if you're in an empty room with no one's view to interrogate, that if you're justified in the belief that it's impossible without God? Wait, so then,
if I'm in an empty room, I wouldn't be able to debate someone. Are you slow?
So do you agree that you don't have an argument without first getting my view?
Possibility of the contrary.
You're saying that. You're not understanding what I'm asking. Well, hold on.
Test for logical consistency.
Okay.
I don't like talking to you.
So are you saying? Well,
is
can you just like stop?
Being 5? How do you demonstrate 2 + 2 being 5 is impossible without demonstrating that it's always 4?
Yeah, that's nice, but I'm trying to understand. Are you saying that if I don't give you my worldview, then you don't have an argument for the proposition? Is that what you're saying?
The argument is a worldview comparison. Don't you understand that?
Wait, I'm asking you, when you make the claim that
argument is a worldview in comparison.
Well, look, first there's just one obvious thing to say, that a single competing worldview in the sample of the infinite possible competing worldviews to show that particular.
It's not infinite.
Okay, well, that's just a claim that I suppose I'm going to presume you also don't have an argument for. Do
you believe there's infinite numbers of starting point?
But look, so I don't know why showing a particular, contrarian worldview is false is doing anything to show that any worldview that's opposed to your view is somehow impossible. So I'm just trying to understand, when you make that claim, are you justified in making that claim without interrogating my view?
Yes, the justification would still be the impossibility of the contrary.
No, I'm asking you, if you don't, are you justified in the claim without interrogating my view?
Yeah, so for the sake of argument,
so you understand it's not required that I give my view for you to be justified in the claim. You just bit that bullet.
You can't participate in the debate, don't you?
No, you just bit the bullet. You're already justified without consulting my view. You just said that. So then, what's the So then, let's just do that. I'm not giving an argument. I'm trying to get. That's a different claim.
Let me speak. Go ahead, Jimmy. What do you gotta say?
You can't.
For example, how would you give the argument?
Oh my, what's up, bro? Yeah, shut your lame ass up, bro.
He's just stacking claims.
Yeah, chill. Let him go ahead. Let Jimmy speak.
How am I stacking claims?
Well, now you're saying that I can't give an argument.
Please don't say that, bro.
Yeah, you can't.
And do you have an argument for that?
But Monkeyboy, you have to know he's not
demonstrate it.
Look, let's suppose that, because that question is kind of besides the point, whether I could give an argument or not. That's not what we're in the interest of, and I doubt you have an argument for that too. I just want to know, you agree that what's not required is that you consult my view to be justified in the claim that the contrary is impossible. So why would I entertain giving you my view?
I don't have to have your worldview to be justified.
Okay, so suppose let's just grant you my worldview is false.
If your worldview is false, then you can't participate in the argument. Don't you get
No, because you're still not justified, whether my view is false or not. To make the claim that the contrary is impossible.
Listen, if you can't account for knowledge, you can't debate. Don't you get that?
You
can't make true claims. You can't be disloyal.
That's besides the point. If you're making the claim,
that's the whole argument.
Okay, yeah, well it's besides the point. It's besides the point, because whether my worldview is false, are you just going to keep saying that when I'm trying to explain, or what?
You can't even have access to language, so you can't even understand my argument.
Okay, well that's just another claim, right? Let's just go one claim that you can't defend at a time. The first claim that the claim we're of the interest in getting an argument for is that
the contrary is impossible. Now, whether my worldview is false is irrelevant. I'll grant you my worldview is false. My worldview being false, my worldview being false. I don't know you're over talking me. My worldview being false. My worldview being false is not a justification for the claim you made that the contrary is impossible. So let's just get the argument.
Impossible because without presupposing the orthodox system, it's incoherent.
Okay, and that's repeating the claim. Do you have an argument that the contrary is impossible?
You don't want to oppose your worldview. This is what atheism do. You guys are a bunch of souls. You don't want to oppose your worldview because you know you can't account for this thing.
Wait, you've admitted that you don't need to consult my worldview to give that argument.
Your worldview's false. That proves the argument. Don't you get that?
Well, no, I don't. What's the argument for that?
When you ask the question, what is the argument? You're already invoking a worldview to criticize the worldview he's presenting.
That's just another claim.
That's why he said it's a performative.
Participating in conversation.
That's just another claim.
That's why it's a performative contradiction. Because when you say that's just a claim, when you say that's just a claim. Dude, you've been talking a lot.
How do you know what a claim is?
I need you to
have knowledge. You don't know what a claim
is. Wait. When I ask for the argument, that's presupposing
a worldview. Speaking English? You don't know words.
Of course, it's presupposing a worldview.
Can I get it like speak? When you say what's the argument, presupposes a worldview.
You don't get it. You can't speak.
Can we mute him? I don't know why he keeps.
You can't use words. Don't you get it?
Look, when you say asking for an argument presupposes a worldview, what's the argument for that?
That's a contradiction. You don't have access to language.
And that's just begging. You're just repeating that claim.
What? What do you mean by that? What does your word mean?
To give arguments,
access to language.
It's not what does it mean not to have access to language? Aren't going to give arguments.
It doesn't matter what it means because if I tell you what it means, you don't have access to language.
Justin, by the way, if I can talk before I'll be muted for a second.
Wait, what do you mean, bro?
The point about how showing your monkeyboy's worldview is false doesn't actually get them to their view being true. They don't get that. Can you try to reproduce that?
The point.
No, wait, but they made the claim that if my worldview is false, then their claim is justified, and asked for the argument for that.
Worldview is false.
And then they said the argument that I can't ask for an argument because that presupposes worldview. That's potentially false, which is just question begging. But I don't know what the argument is for that.
Worldview is false. If you just said for the sake of argument, worldview is false, you can't be up here debating. Don't you get that?
Wait, what is? I don't understand. My worldview being false does nothing to show that your claim's justified. So granting my worldview is false,
I now don't even have to do that.
Knowing my well, why would that be?
Participate in
conversation. I don't know where you get that. I can't participate in language.
You don't know anything. That's my argument.
That's a claim. What's the argument? I don't know anything.
How do you know it's a claim? That's a true claim. How do you know it's a claim?
What's the argument? I don't know anything.
What do you mean argument? You don't know what these words mean. You don't have access to language.
Well, look, you're just making more claims. I don't know.
I say this real quick. Yo, bro. Yo, guys, chill on the what's his name? Artesian, bro. Don't mute him in the comments or block him. All right, go ahead.
Look, I don't know. You're just making more claims now, saying that.
How do you know I'm making claims?
Wait, hold on. I'm sorry. One more thing. Yo, my nigga, there's 50 people in here. Like, can I get likes, yo? Yo, if you don't jump that boy to 5K, hold on. I'm turning off the comments, bro. Go ahead. Y'all can go now.
Yeah, so
I just want to know the argument that I don't know anything.
You can't know anything, dude.
Yeah, but what's the argument for that?
You already told us.
What's the argument for that?
You just granted to me your worldview is false, so you can't participate, bro.
Wait, what's the argument? I can't know anything.
You can't even interpret the argument because you don't have access to language, bro. This is like
let's not stack claims. Let's just first get the argument. I don't know anything.
What does stack mean?
Wait, Justin. Earlier, this dude literally said that you can have knowledge but not justification. Now he's straight up saying monkeyboy has no knowledge. Like, why'd you switch your position like that?
Just provide a syllogism.
You can have first orders, okay? But what I'm saying is, if he can't account for the possibility of knowledge at all, then he can't make any truth claim.
Wait, I don't need to account for anything when you make the claim. I don't know anything. When you make that claim,
you said your worldview was false, dude. Don't you get it?
My worldview being false and me not knowing anything they're not the same claim.
If your worldview is false, that means you can't account for knowledge, dude. Don't you get it, bro?
Well, what's the argument for that?
Why do you keep asking me for arguments if you can't use language?
Yeah, but that's just begging the question. You're saying if my worldview is false, I don't know how to use language.
How do you know that you can't account for knowledge?
Why was I muted?
Wait, real quick, before y'all continue. Bro, for like the past 5 minutes, bro, monkeyboy hasn't answered a question. He just keeps saying, and what's the, you know what I'm saying?
Because he's making claims. What questions would I have?
Honestly, Jimmy just provided syllogism, bro. So
already did, bro.
Hold on, real quick before y'all continue.
You're not tracking. You're not
real
tracking.
Quick before
what he said was that my worldview.
Hey, bro, I didn't even finish my.
Yeah, 1 second. Let Lane speak.
Right. So I get it, bro. Some people don't like his position. Some people may like his position, bro. When this man speaks, bro, like 3 people will jump in and try to help this atheist, which to me makes no sense. But this man has answered every one of monkeys, or at least tried to give a response.
No, he hasn't.
Wait, dude. Let me.
You're not tracking.
If you would just let me speak. I said he has answered, or at least tried to give a response, because I know you don't think that he's answering. That's fine, right? But if you would just
skip this and go back to the conversation.
If you would just please answer at least one question, bro.
Okay, nice suggestion. Let's just
Okay, that's fine. Let's just ignore what he said and go back to the conversation. What's the argument that I don't know anything?
You already admitted it, dude.
When did I say that? I don't think a single person here can attest to me saying that.
If the point of the argument is to say
I said, grant you my worldview is false. I don't know where from that you derive that I don't know anything.
5 seconds, dude. So even if you're saying, well, what's the argument for that? If you already agreed that your worldview can account for knowledge, no matter what I say,
I never made that argument. I never granted you that my worldview doesn't account for knowledge.
You said it was false. If it's false, that means it can't account for knowledge.
Okay, what's the argument for that?
You already granted it.
I know. I'm clearly asking for the argument.
Monkey, why do you say I wasn't going to grant it for the sake of this talk? Monkey, why do you so hard?
I granted him that my worldview is false. I didn't grant him. I can't account for knowledge.
Monkey, if your worldview is false, right? Therefore, knowledge, anything that is true, and your worldview will therefore.
That's just repeating the claim, and that's what I'm asking for the argument for.
Your worldview also take account what truth proposition. So if you don't know what is truth, this would also include your language.
Yo, who is this guy?
Sorry, bro.
Look, can we just get the argument? I don't know anything. It's fine if you just want to admit you don't have one.
Three people helped the atheists. They stayed up there. One person tried to help out Jimmy, got kicked out.
What was the argument?
Yeah, Jimmy, I gave you the argument.
You said if I grant that my worldview is false, then that entails that I can't account for knowledge, and I never granted you that, and I'm asking for the argument for that.
The argument is that if your worldview is incoherent, you can't give an account for the possibility of knowledge. If you can't give an account for the possibility of knowledge, you can't participate in this debate.
I never
contradiction, which makes you a sophist.
Well,
you're a sophist.
Well, there's a few things. There's a few things there. The claim that if my worldview is incoherent,
you don't have access to language.
Well, if I can speak for a moment, the claim that if my worldview is incoherent, then I can't account for knowledge is another claim that would require an argument. What I didn't grant is that my worldview is incoherent. I granted that it's false. A proposition could be false, or a set of views that make up your understanding of the world could be false, not incoherent. So what I'm not granting is that my worldview is incoherent. You have to give an argument for that. And then the claim that if my worldview is incoherent, I can't account for knowledge is another claim.
Coherent and false simultaneously. That's a contradiction.
Well, what's the contradiction?
What's the argument, buddy?
The argument is P and not P. P is you can have access to knowledge, and at the same time, your worldview is false.
That's not a contradiction.
Yeah, it is, because something can't be coherent.
A contradiction is P and not P. So what is P there?
P and not P.
Wait, what is P there?
That you have access to knowledge.
So the contradictions: I have access to knowledge, and I don't have access to knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay, how you deriving I don't have access to knowledge?
Because a worldview can account for it.
Yeah, but that's just begging the question. You've said this like 20 times.
You already answered it.
You've already said my worldview can't account for knowledge, and that's what I've been asking for the argument for. So now you're saying the contradiction is that it can and can't, and I never granted you it can't. You never even attempted to give an argument in light of that.
You never even attempted to give me your worldview.
Wait, so why? Wait, so how you justify making? Wait, that's besides the point, because you're saying for any worldview that's false, if the worldview is false, then it can't count for knowledge. So what's not required is knowing, like, granting you whatever my worldview is that it's false. Just merely from the fact it's false, you're saying that you can entail that you're saying that you can derive the fact it can't account for knowledge. So let's just say that you can derive the fact it can't account for knowledge.
Give me your worldview, and I can give you a detailed argument.
I'm not gonna hold you.
I ain't gonna lie, that argument was gonna go on for an hour and a half. He's not giving his worldview, and your argument requires a worldview.
Yeah, Jimmy, you're cooked, bro.
I'm not gonna hold you. Monkey boy, you're cool, bro, but it's like, bro, it wasn't even me who kicked you too, but nah, it's just not gonna go anywhere, bro. Like,
Monkey boy, do you actually sound like that, or are you trolling us?
His argument requires a worldview, and Monkey boy refuses to give him a worldview. So like the argument would have just went for an hour.
Yo, wait. Am I tweaking? Are we trying to say that Jimmy was cooking Monkey Boy or something? Is that what I'm saying here?
Jimmy, do you believe that if Monkey Boy's view is incoherent, that means your view is true?
No.
Yeah, cool. So you agree that if you were to show that Monkey Boy's view is incoherent, that wouldn't suffice to show your view is true. You'd actually.
That guy just annoys me, bro. Not gonna lie.
all right, hold up, bro. If I'm
Jimmy, I want to see.
What's the argument? Wait,
one second. I gotta moderate the shit out of this. Like, yeah, I'm about to be so neutral. If y'all are actually gonna speak, like, it has to be progressive, bro.
Wait, so, Justin, what's the argument for moderating?
Chill.
Oh, Justin, you're actually not able to provide an argument because you don't have like the fullness of language, bro.
I think the only way this is going to really progress is that if Justin clarifies how and when he's begging the question, that if needed, I can explain to Justin. And once he begs the question, make it clear what we want is an argument for the claims he's making.
Let me put my hearing ears on, bro. I'm gonna try to hear y'all out. So let it just be. Let me hear
where we left off was he said that if for any worldview, if it's false, then it can't account for knowledge. And asks, what's the argument for that?
It's not coherent. That would mean it's contradictory, so it can't account.
No, not incoherent if it's false.
Are those not synonymous?
No.
Anything incoherent is false.
Yo, this guy's an idiot, bro.
I'm not gonna hold you.
Oh my!
I would say that
You can't have a coherent worldview. You can't have a coherent worldview and it be true simultaneously.
Yeah, I agree to that, but that doesn't. That's not
Look,
okay. But that's not.
incoherency is just saying that you can't like really understand the thing, or that.
But you
not,
understand that's asymmetric. Like, look, let's say it's false. I have an apple that's green on my table. Just because the proposition is false, it's not incoherent that there's a green apple on my table.
Yeah, but you then would have to provide an account for how you know it's green, how you know it's on the table.
Wait, no, look, when I grant you my worldview is false, and you say from that fact you can derive that I can't account for knowledge. Just give the derivation. Just give the argument.
Well, give your worldview, dummy.
No, you're saying from if any worldview is false. So it's not a matter of the contents of the worldview. It's a matter of the worldview being false.
This is what's wrong with atheists. They can't think paradigmatically. You're like locked in a box because your epistemic priority is yourself. So you're in a box. You can't realize that, and you can't even understand the argument. Just give me your worldview, bro. It's a comparison of systems. That's what the argument is.
Can anyone else understand what I'm saying and like explain it to him?
Is
else understand what I'm saying and like
wait, hold on, let me chill.
Like Justin, bro.
I was just about to like come in and like try to. I was just.
You have to provide a worldview in order for the consequence.
It's a metalogical argument, so it's before even the.
Sonny, bro, be a dude, bro, be a bro, and don't speak when I do this, cause bro, these guys can't just. Yeah, hold up. Look, this is it, right? Jimmy is saying that Monkey Boy's worldview is false because it can't account for knowledge, right?
No, the opposite. He's saying
where it's incoherent, it's false, right? So it's not going to be able to account for this knowledge. And now Monkey Boy is asking for the argument for this. And Jimmy's now saying that, okay, what's your worldview? But it'd be kind of weird for Jimmy to ask that if Jimmy's already equating that it's false. How is he calling it false or even true, which he's not calling it, but even if he were to call it true, how would he be saying that if he didn't know it in the first place? So I since y'all had past talks, I probably already assumed that you already knew this, so I didn't really know why you were asking, But yeah, I mean, if you're saying it's false because he can't account for knowledge, right, or any worldview that's incoherent is false because he can't account for knowledge, or that it's just incoherent, then he is right to say like the content of his worldview doesn't really matter. Like you can't have his content of his I mean, you don't need the content of his worldview in order to situate if it's true or not. But if you're saying it's incoherent, it's false. He's asking for the argument for that. So like the content of his worldview, bro, really wouldn't matter. And bro, I'm really trying to be humble, and I'm not trying to like.
Yo, Zamir is Justin's.
Oh, I gotta end this shit. Hold on, I end this shit. Oh, bro, my shit bugging, bro. Yo, you can hear me?
Well, listen, bro.
Yeah.
Hello?
Unlimited number of starting points. So, for example, what's the infinity, which I was trying to ask you earlier, between starting points between God does exist and doesn't? That's 2 starting points. I don't have to exhaust a list of infinite starting points because that doesn't exist. There aren't infinite starting points. So your starting point is that God doesn't exist. Therefore, just from that specific claim that God doesn't exist, the rest of your worldview is false. You don't get it.
Okay, I get you. So he's saying that you don't have a God. Since you don't have a God, you can't reach the knowledge. And if your worldview is lacking a God, then that worldview can't necessitate or require knowledge. So, yeah, okay. Well, yeah, that's what simply he's saying. Okay.
Yeah, what he said is if a worldview is false,
let's say he was like Muslim or something, then we can go down that line of how his worldview with believing in God is still incoherent, but he doesn't get that.
No, look, you're saying that if a worldview is false, it can't account for knowledge, right? And I'm granting you mine is false. I'm asking you to justify the conditional. If my worldview is false, then I can't account for knowledge, right? That's what I'm asking for an argument for.
If your worldview is false, you can't give a coherent account. Don't you get that?
That's just repeating the claim.
Are all things false?
It just seems like look. When you say something is false, look, I understand what's being said, bro. He's saying that if you have this false worldview, you acquiring knowledge is just like stupid because of the fact that your worldview is false. But Jimmy, you know that you could have false things in your worldview, but the power or faculty, right, to like I guess be specific with scholastical words, since you're familiar with it, the power to come to knowledge is still there. Like just because you have like false worldviews or like false certain propositions doesn't mean you can't acquire knowledge. Like,
no, that's not what Scripture says. Since I'm Christian and I believe in the Bible says that, guess what? You're dead if you don't know God. So if you don't know God, you don't think you're.
Yeah, but that's only in a spirit. But that's only in a spiritual sense, though, bro. That's not in the sense of actual knowledge.
No, it's literal.
Proverbs. So are we actually dead? Are we dead? We're dead in sin in our spirit, but not in like literally. Like we're not separated from our soul.
God's not the God of the dead. Who is he not the God of? Disbelievers, right?
Bro, if he's the God of, he's not the God of the dead. That is right, of course.
Wait, just to be clear, what Justin is saying is that the way that you derive knowledge could be true, right? Your knowledge derivation whatever method you derive truth can be accurate, true, whatever you want to say. And you can just have a set of false beliefs that make up your understanding of the world, right? Those aren't incompatible.
But if your starting point is yourself, you can't get to the objectivity of truth.
You're not okay. Let's just. Oh my God, he's not understanding anything. Let's just try and go back to.
Really don't understand,
let's just go back. No, you're not. No, that was just like a very trivial thing that Justin is not an atheist that I explained to you, right? Which is just like anyone who knows basic logical devices.
He's a Christian. His worldview can't account for knowledge.
Do you think there's a contradiction in? Do you think there's a contradiction in having a correct way of accounting for knowledge and having a set of false beliefs?
I mean, not necessarily, because if your starting point.
So then, why are you saying that I'm wrong because I'm an atheist?
Sonny's up here.
Now you just agree.
Sonny's up here, and his starting point, he has the same system as me, but he doesn't agree to certain things within that system. So since he doesn't agree with certain things within that system, his worldview is false, even though he formally holds to the same worldview as me.
No, you're not. You're saying that if a worldview is false, then you can't account for knowledge. But you just agreed you can have the right way of accounting for knowledge and have a set of false beliefs that make up the understanding of the world. So now you just agreed you can have a false worldview and still have the correct way of accounting for knowledge. You just contradicted. Wait. Sony, did you understand how he contradicted himself?
Listen. The only way that's possible is that you have the correct starting point. Now listen, Sonny up here, he's also an Eastern Orthodox, so he holds to the same system as me, but he doesn't agree with certain things that follow in that system. Don't you get that?
Okay, here, let's just go step by step. You said if you have a false worldview, then you can't account for knowledge. And I asked you, is it possible you have the correct way for accounting for knowledge and you have a set of false beliefs that make up the understanding of the world? And you said yes.
He can have a correct starting point. He can have a correct starting point. That doesn't mean that the rest of his beliefs are also correct.
So do you understand how that contradicts your previous statement?
It doesn't contradict because because he has a starting point, subjectively, he can still hold to false beliefs.
Okay, here, let me walk you through it. You said that if the set of beliefs that make up the understanding of the world are false, then you can't account for knowledge. Then I asked you, can you have a correct way of accounting for knowledge and have a set of false beliefs that make up the understanding of the world? And you said yes. So now do you see the contradiction?
It would still be false because the only way that's possible is if we share the same starting point. Me and Sonny happen to share the same starting point.
Besides the point.
And the rest of his system doesn't align with his starting point. Therefore, his worldview is false. Holds the same way.
I'm just understanding how the two things you said were contradictory. Do you see that?
How's that contradictory?
Okay, let me walk you through.
You don't realize we're arguing starting points. Sonny has the same starting point, so his starting point is correct. That doesn't mean the rest of his beliefs are coherent. Even if he has the same starting point, his worldview is false. We're arguing starting points, bro. Do you understand?
You're not understanding the contradiction you just repeated as well. You're saying what you said earlier is that it's entailed from having a false worldview that you can't account for knowledge. Now you're saying Sonny does account for knowledge, but has a false worldview. So it's not entailed from a false worldview that he can't account for knowledge.
It would be self-contradictory subjectively to him, not to the system itself. We're comparing systems, not subjects.
Okay, wait, but are you agreeing that you can account for knowledge correctly and have a false worldview?
Only if you have this specific system as a starting point.
So the answer is yes. Wait, so the answer is yes, right?
Okay, it would just be heresy. That would mean you don't formally hold to the same system.
So if the answer is yes, then you understand you're wrong in saying the reason of things the contrary is impossible.
It's a performative contradiction.
You said the reason the contrary is impossible is because any worldview that's false can't account for knowledge. Any worldview that's contrary is false, therefore it can't account for knowledge. Now you just agreed that Sonny has a false worldview and
hold up, monkeyboy. Seb, chill.
Yo, W said, bro. Don't even.
No. Chill. Come back.
No, don't come back, bro.
I mean, does anyone on the panel disagree that he contradicted himself? Like,
yeah, I have a question, monkeyboy.
Bro, I stopped following this a long time ago.
Wait, but Michael, before I get to your question, you agree he contradicted himself, right?
Of course.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
I definitely wouldn't be opposed to it because he contradicted himself when he was talking to me.
Exactly, bro. No, he's back and home, man.
Chill.
Wait, can I just ask my question to monkeyboy?
Yeah, and then you guys can go. Whatever, yeah.
All right, so what's the argument for you being a corny ass nigga?
Yo, bro.
What's wrong with this guy?
Bro, chill out, bro. Bro, my fault, bro. Go ahead, bro. Bro.
Okay. I don't know if there's any more to go forward because.
So listen, you're not understanding systems. So Sonny, for example, professes to hold to the same system as me. He has some beliefs that don't appeal to that system. It's called heresy. So even though he may have the correct starting point, he doesn't hold to the whole system. That's what we're comparing, dude.
Well, your precept is built on a precept. You're so cooked, bro.
What's wrong with presuppositions? You don't have any?
Yeah, your presupposition is like built on a presupposition because you're saying it's heretical.
That doesn't mean it's
presuppositionalism, which is another presupposition. That presuppositionalism must be presupposed. You're like an idiot, bro. What are you saying here?
So what's wrong with presuppositions?
Because you're acting like it's dogmatic to hold to presuppositionalism.
I didn't say that. I said that's the method of the father.
If it's a presupposition, it's just true by definition it's unjustified.
No, you can have justification for presuppositions. Where are you getting?
Oh my, bro.
How do you have a
How do you
just because some
what do you mean? Wait, everyone, wait. Look, the colloquial definition of a presupposition is a belief that's not justified. What do you mean by presupposition? Then? Go on Webster. What are you talking? Look at
it's literally a presupposition. Presupposition. Like,
prior to anything, it's just the truth. That's what it means to not be justified. Prior, that's what the pre is for.
Presup. Listen, bro, you aren't getting it. Just because it's a presupposition doesn't mean the rest of the system itself isn't justified within the system, bro. My goodness.
Wait, nobody said anything about that. Obviously, according to the presup, there would be justifications according to the precept. But the precept itself, prior to any additional things within the system, is unjustified.
Wait, I just want him to understand what he's saying. He's saying that if I start with an unjustified belief and I work a set of other beliefs that are contingent on an unjustified belief, the beliefs that are parasitic on the starting belief that's unjustified can still be justified from the unjustified belief that I started with. Like, what are you saying?
That's actually, you're right about that.
No, because justification is something that's within the system itself. So your theory of justification is within your system. There's no objective standard of justification. That's literally the problem with the criterion. Don't you understand that?
I don't even know what that was saying.
The system itself provides the method of justification. So you can presuppose a system and in that system have justification. It's relative to the system.
Wait,
are you stupid?
What does it mean for a system isn't a proposition? I don't know what it means for a system to be true.
What do you mean you don't know what it means for a system to be true?
Yeah, systems are nouns.
Yeah, systems are nouns. Like, dog is true just doesn't make any sense. My dog exists is a proposition that could be true.
The word system picks out a set of beliefs. Aren't beliefs propositions? Are you guys this much like sophists? This is ridiculous, bro.
Wait, now you're just agreeing. Now you're just agreeing that what you mean by systems, a set of beliefs, those beliefs are unjustified, and you're using those set of unjustified beliefs to justify other beliefs.
The set of beliefs you hold to. Are you dumb?
Wait, so you agree that systems and sets of beliefs could be unjustified?
Yes.
Okay, so we agree.
But I don't understand that then.
The criterion of justification is given within another system. So I can say another system's incoherent and unjustified according to my system. But
I don't think he understands the type of gravity of what he's saying. Hold on. You're saying that you're defining justification under the foundational belief to justification is that a God exists. For any view that doesn't have the view of God exists, it's unjustified. Right? That's just an analytically true statement.
No, I think he rejects analytical truths.
Wait, but there's no way he can reject analytical truth because the way he's describing his system is an analytical truth.
Yeah, Jimmy, are you not skeptic on like analytical truths and axioms and self-evident truths, etc.?
I don't believe in self-evident truths. Yeah.
No, but you agree in analytic truths that there are things that are true by definition. Okay, yeah. So all he's saying is that his system defines what justification is. His system is a starting belief. The starting belief is that God exists. For any view that doesn't start with God, given his definition of justification is the background belief that God exists, then you can't have justification.
That's because it's going to be incoherent in providing an account for these things.
Yeah, if you're defining, the point is no one uses justification in that sense.
So what?
Okay, the point is
you're just trivially true, bro. Like,
wait, monkeyboy, it's trivially true, but it's...
Yeah. Basically, my system is correct because my system says it's correct, right? Because your system's incorrect, therefore your system's incorrect. That's my argument.
Basically, you're just saying
you can have objective truths. It doesn't mean that the account or the criterion for justification is objective, bro. What are you talking about?
That's true, but then you wouldn't be justified in saying that it's actually true or objectively true.
So
I don't even think what he's saying is like intelligible because
the theory of
justification is just look, what you're saying is that your theory of justification hinges on a belief, but justification is properties of beliefs. Right? What it means for something to be justified is the relation between a belief and certain epistemic norms. So justification is some epistemically normative system, right? It's not a belief.
No, you aren't understanding. So justification.
Now you're just using another idiosyncratic concept of justification.
Justification would be the reasons within that same system that logically consist with all your other beliefs and provide an account coherently between different.
Are you looking this up?
Wait. No, you agree by reason. You just mean the relationship between a belief or proposition and a set of norms, right?
With your other beliefs.
Wait, I'm asking you. Do you understand a reason to be the relationship between norms and beliefs?
What do you mean norms?
Jesus Christ. I don't. At this point, when he talks about justification and doesn't know normativity, how do you further a conversation? Do you know what the colloquial or the standard understanding of normativity is in like philosophy?
Yeah, is that the definition you're going with?
Like, are you familiar with the concept of like morality? That should is a normative term.
Yeah, I'm asking, is that the definition you're going with, bro? So I can further adjust your claims.
Yeah, I'm asking you if you share the understanding that a reason is
I don't
the
know
relationship.
if I do. That's why I asked you what your definition was.
Well, do you just? I'm asking you if you have a sense of norm, right? And that concept of norm is just like,
yeah,
like some
philosophical standard norm,
like
yes,
some
what-
obligation or something.
Yeah, like what people would generally say, given a language system.
No, I'm saying that a norm's an obligation.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, or maybe even a principle that you can infer obligation from or something like that. But yeah, so you agree that a reason is just a relationship between a belief and a norm, right? Or set of norms.
Yeah, set of norms and the coherence of the other beliefs within your system.
Yeah, but you just said that a reason is a justifier, and your theory of justification doesn't use norms; it uses the belief God exists. And you just agreed that a reason is the relation between
all
a belief and a norm.
use norms. What are you talking about?
No, you said that your theory of justification supposes a belief.
I never even told you what my theory of justification was.
You said that your theory. You said the reason why all other views are unjustified
I'll
is because
give
they don't
you
have
my
the background
theory
belief
of
that God
justification.
exists,
I'll
and that
give
the
you my
belief
theory
God
of
exists is required for justification.
Exactly.
That just means it's a property of your
My theory of justification is I'm an epistemic holist, so I believe that your beliefs have to be logically consistent within your entire system.
Look, you said that the background belief God exists is a prerequisite to having justification. That just means the belief God exists is built into your justificational theory.
Wait, monkeyboy, atheism is true, therefore you need that to be like logically consistent.
So listen, without believing in God, you're stuck in an epistemic box where you can't get out of self-evident truths, which I don't believe
This is
in.
just not okay. Let's try and respond to what I'm saying. Then.
Truth.
Look, do we agree that under your theory of justification, the background belief God exists is required?
To have knowledge, yeah.
Well, to have justification is what I'm asking.
You can have justification for something, but it ultimately,
Without
from
God.
your first principle itself wouldn't be justified because it doesn't do the work that you want it to.
Wait, so you are saying that in order to have a principally justified view, you have to have God.
Listen, you can't have a coherent system that can provide justification for things like meta-ethics, meta-logic. So before doing logic, which you believe is self-evident, I don't. That's what I'm bringing into question, your starting point. Where do you start from to build your system?
Are you amounting coherence to justification, or is it possible you have a coherent view that's not justified?
If you believe in like coherentism, then yes, coherence would be.
No, I'm not asking you. I'm not asking you if you believe. I'm asking your view. You said that you can. I'm asking you if you can have a coherent view that's not justified.
It depends on that system of justification, but I don't believe if your starting point is self, because you can still have justified beliefs. Still have justified beliefs for.
I can't.
So maybe like that's not probable.
I want to learn about philosophy. It's like, what is the point of secular philosophy when it just ends in death, in my opinion?
Secular.
Yeah.
Can you try to explain the difference between saying something is necessary and that you have a prior to something, Kaysen?
Wait, what am I explaining? Sorry, I thought you were about to say that to P. Mars. I wasn't listening.
P. Mars doesn't understand that there's a difference between like talking about priors and talking about something's being contingent or necessary. He thinks that necessary is like synonymous with it has a 100% probability of being true or something.
Yeah, but ultimate reality is going to dictate what's contingent and what's necessary. So
presumably you have like some sort of like probability of like what ultimate reality is, regardless of whether or not you think.
It's not it's not a probability.
Yeah, it's like a credence level given like a certain set of evidence, and that evidence is gonna kind of boost the probability, presumably.
It's not a probability. We said ultimate reality revealed itself to us. If that doesn't occur, you couldn't know what ultimate reality is.
Well, you have like a set of data that like raises the probability of the proposition, regardless of whether or not you think the proposition is metaphysically necessary.
If it's ultimate, it's not subject to background information, so you couldn't make a probabilistic argument about it.
Oh. I mean, I don't even know what you mean when you say if it's something's ultimate, it's not subject to background information. That requires more cashing out, but...
Physically prior.
What?
Prior? What do you mean by that?
The other thing, though, is I made it super simple, so I'm not even making reference to background information when I just say the prior probability is how confident you are in the proposition being true. So obviously, I can be more or less confident in God being necessary or something.
Yeah, God would be like the highest. We would have the highest confidence in God.
Just say God's the one.
Yeah, but I'm not 100% confident that God is necessary. So
that's because you're irrational.
we'll go with that I'm irrational, but then you at least understand what I mean when I'm talking about the prior probability. That's all I'm talking about, how confident I am.
What is that? How's that relevant to anything?
That's what I mean by prior probability, because I'm just using it in a subjective Bayesian way. So then you understand what I mean when I say source physicalism and source idealism have roughly equal prior probabilities. I mean, I'm roughly equally confident in source physicalism or source idealism being true.
How would you have any idea? Look, can you prove any of these things are true?
I'm not saying, I'm not asserting that either one of these two things are true. I'm saying I'm not more confident in one being true over the other one.
Okay.
Do you at least understand what that premise is saying now?
No.
All right. I'll know, Kason. I don't think there's much I can do here.
Oh wait. So you don't understand, like, 1 second. So you don't understand that he's just stating that he's not more so confident in either or positions. He's just saying that they like have roughly he just has like roughly the same type of like confidence level towards both of those things.
Okay.
Okay, that's all that's being stated. Okay.
Okay, and then the second premise is that theism has a lower prior probability than source idealism. In other words, I'm less confident in theism than source physicalism. That's just because theism is a more specific version of source idealism. So if you have one hypothesis is subsumed under another hypothesis, or is a subset of that other hypothesis, then that one is less likely. Then what you can get from that is that theism has a lower prior probability than source physicalism. And then the last step is if theism has a lower prior probability than source physicalism, and there's not much more evidence for source physicalism or for theism than there is over source physicalism, then you should accept source physicalism. And if you should accept source physicalism, then you should deny theism. Therefore, you should deny theism.
I presuppose there's no evidence for God, therefore there's no evidence for God.
I said.
Mars, which premise do you think?
What I understood from that is just like I prefer physicalism is what all he was saying there.
Oh.
Okay, so what premise did you get that from?
I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I don't shit.
So like, you know how arguments go and shit, right?
How can he even make an argument?
Are you like lost right now? Yeah, I was asking if you know how arguments work. Yeah, I'm assuming you do, right?
How could you even make an argument on a godless model of reality?
Yeah, I'll entertain tag in a second, but presumably you know how arguments work, right?
No.
I believe you.
I was trying to give a live demonstration of how you could give an argument God doesn't exist. I wasn't even saying it's a successful one. PMARS said, like, there are no arguments for atheism.
Okay, PMARS.
You would have to prove materialism is true, or like you'd have to show that there are like these immaterial.
Mars, where'd you get that from?
Well, yeah, do you have an argument? Do you have an argument for that?
Theological apologetics.
Do you have an argument for what
you'd have to show that like materialism is true, or that
you have an argument that I would have to do that.
It's in the paper Theological Apologetics.
Yeah, can I get the argument? I'm not interested in a citation.
Okay.
Presumably you can reproduce the argument you're espousing, right?
No.
I believe you. Look, can you produce any arguments right now?
I do the transcendental argument for God.
Can I get the premises of that argument?
Well, I think it'd be better if I just gave it informally, because you probably wouldn't understand the premises.
I think I would understand the premises.
No, I'll do it informally. You wouldn't understand the premises.
I'm dodging my question. I would like a formal argument.
Okay, well, I'd like to do it informally. So here's how
we'll entertain that, sure. Go for it.
Okay, let's see here.
Refer to the notes.
Yeah, I was going to go look at my notes.
I believe you.
Yeah.
And when you say your notes, I'm presuming it's like something someone's written, but...
Dawkins' notes.
Yeah, but definitely, bro. Objectively proving the Christian worldview.
I mean, basically, it has to do with, like, due to human limitations, like, we only have access, like, we don't have access to reality apart from human bias, right? Like,
this is good stuff. Can I get the argument instead of the, like, idea behind it?
No.
Okay, so now you wanted originally to give me the argument informally, and now you're talking about the argument you no longer want to give?
So the idea is like you can't.
That was just a yes or no. Sorry, that was just a yes or no. That's what's happening right now.
right? Like I'm accurately tracking that. You said I want to give you an informal argument, and then you started talking about the argument you no longer want to give.
I was trying to make an argument.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, make the argument. Go for it.
Yeah. So because we can't know reality apart from like human bias. All of our knowledge is gonna.
How do you define human bias?
Like,
sorry, am I cutting out? How do you define human bias?
Like knowledge is either gonna come from sense data or like reason.
Oh, like when humans have knowledge, it's the humans that have knowledge. Yeah, I agree.
And so since like if we're limited to just our sense data and reason for knowledge, that would make science and philosophy impossible. We're going to need to because you couldn't defeat skepticism.
Why is that?
Well, what you think you can defeat skepticism?
You're saying it's impossible, yes?
Yeah, you couldn't defeat skepticism. Like you couldn't.
What's the contradiction? Sorry.
You could only.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. Relax. Calm down. What is the contradiction in accepting that your means of knowledge is perception and reason, and then defeating skepticism? What's the contradiction there?
The contradiction.
Yeah, you're saying something's impossible. That's to say there's some contradiction. Unless you're using impossible in a way that doesn't mean there's a contradiction. Or is that what you're doing?
I'm not sure what you're. I don't know what you're asking.
Right. So when you say something's impossible, you're saying that two statements, if they were both true, would entail a contradiction. That's what it means for something to be impossible, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what is the contradiction in accepting that man's means of knowledge is only reason and sense data, accepting a defeat to skepticism? What's the contradiction there?
I'm not really sure what you're asking.
Yeah. You're saying that you can only defeat skepticism under a theist worldview, yes?
Yes.
Right. What's the argument for that?
Yes, due to like limitations in humans, right? That we could only know like modern science. Philosophy.
I'm asking for an argument as to why. I'm asking as to why it's necessary that you appeal to a theistic worldview in order to defeat skepticism.
Yeah, because modern science and philosophy, they only deal with like how we perceive the world. They can't answer any questions about the actuality of the world, right?
Why would I accept a dichotomy between the perceived world and the actual world? Right. So it seems like you're begging the question.
Well, no. You want to have access
to. Can you give me an argument?
Yeah, because humans, we filter reality, right? Through like
humans.
Bias.
When you say bias, just to clarify, your semantics for bias were when human beings have knowledge, it's human beings that have knowledge. That was your semantics for bias.
A bias is like a worldview.
Do you think human beings learn the world through a worldview?
Yeah, we understand.
So do you think that prior to having a worldview, we could learn?
There's no such thing as prior to having a worldview. Even a baby has a primitive form of a worldview.
Do you think? So you deny tabula rasa theories? You think that we have like innate?
Yeah, and I think Wilford Sellers' paper.
What's the argument for that? Okay, cool.
Wilford Sellers' paper.
I'm not interested in a paper. Sorry, I don't care about your paper. I'm asking for an argument. What's the argument for the view that we don't?
Wilford Sellers' The Myth of the Given.
That's cool. Can I get an argument right now for your view?
Yeah, you couldn't have like a fact in isolation, right?
What does that mean?
Facts require a web of facts.
Why would I accept that?
Because it's true.
No, sorry. Why would I accept that as true? That's what's in debate.
What does it mean to say that facts require a web of facts? Like,
we'll
to be true.
One of the most famous things is like the "I think therefore I am," right? Like that's just like self-evident truth that we start with and then we build up from there.
I don't understand what the point you're trying to make here is.
Okay.
What, like, you're telling me that we need a web of facts. Why would I accept that?
Yeah, basically due to the reciprocal relationship between ontology, epistemology, and ethics, that we can't put a worldview together like block by block, right? It won't make sense. And so due to like human limitations, we need like what would be the word to describe it? Like a holistic approach to build a worldview. And what
I agree that as a philosopher now, you can't be philosophically indifferent. Like I agree, I can't abandon philosophy when I meta philosophize, like when I think about philosophy. I agree. But you're trying to say that like from the beginning of our existence and the beginning of our philosophizing, we actually have a worldview. I'm asking an argument for that. Like why can't
because your cognitive like abilities or your cognitive functions are like a primitive worldview. So even a baby, like babies,
what do you mean by worldview?
Like babies think the transcendental categories. Like babies are going to think in terms of like cause and effect, temporal.
So by worldview, you don't mean like a set of beliefs. By worldview, you just mean like certain structures of the mind.
Worldview is your ontology, epistemology, and ethics.
Do you think that babies like begin to exist with an ethical code?
They have primitive forms of these things. Yes.
Why would I accept that?
Why would I accept that? Why would I care if you accept it?
Sorry, sorry, I was trying to be nice with you. What's the argument for the thing you just put forward?
The argument for the thing? I mean, it's true. I don't have an argument for that.
I believe you don't have an argument for it, but just saying it's true doesn't establish that it is true, right?
Right. Well, I could go.
Right. So we established that it's true.
I mean, it's just definition. It's just
you want to have definitionally true. That's not true.
It's going to be definite. Yeah, it is.
That's not definitionally. The definition of consciousness somehow. No, please explain to me how just analytically follows from the definition of awareness that I have an ethical code just built into my head. Please explain that to me.
Your cognitive functions.
I have structures. I have
part of your world.
Mind. I granted that. I granted that. I granted that. Now explain to me how it follows from me granting that I have an innate ethical code. Do you need me to repeat my question? I'll repeat it for you. Explain to me how it follows from accepting that there is an innate ethical code.
If you want to be wrong, like, I don't care.
I believe you don't care, but I don't think you care about being right? Because you're not giving me arguments for the things you keep saying. You just keep
giving an argument. You're just obfuscating. You're bloviating.
You gave me an argument. Stop trying to move to meta because you're wrong. I want you to give me an argument.
I did.
You are wrong. Give me sorry. No, you're not. Give me an argument. Stop dodging.
I gave you an argument.
No, you didn't.
Okay.
You haven't given me an argument. Sorry. Demonstrate to me how from the definition of awareness, I get an ethical code innate inside of me.
No, you have what's known as an evidential burden.
I don't. You're making a positive assertion. You have the burden of proof.
But when I provide the evidence, now you have an evidential burden.
The burden of rejoinder applies if and only if you give me an argument in favor of the thing you're positing. Right? What is the argument?
If facts, then God. We have facts, therefore God.
Why would I accept premise 1?
Because I can take any fact and show that God's necessary for that fact.
Okay. Prove that to me.
Yeah, so like to brush your teeth, right?
Uh-huh.
When you squeeze the toothpaste tube, you believe that the toothpaste is going to go under your toothbrush, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could believe that. Presumably you couldn't believe that, but sure. I'll grant that.
No, you can't not believe that.
You could, but I'll just grant that.
Well, we'll end the conversation there.
I'm saying we can grant that.
Yeah, I don't need you to grant it.
I'm helping you out. I'm helping you with your point.
He's at best going to establish one fact, right? But his claim is that he can show that for any fact, right? And that means for every fact.
Yeah, I don't think you do.
Even if he could establish it for one fact, wouldn't show that.
No, I agree, but I don't think you can do it for one. So I was taking these zero. Look, just give me. Sure, I grant that people when they get that toothpaste and they press, I grant that they believe that's going to come out. I grant that.
You don't need you to grant it.
I'm assuming that's true. I'm agreeing with you.
It's real simple. God has revealed himself.
Relax. Okay, this is your third retarded argument. I just want you to continue on one retarded line of thought.
You can't say slurs on here, Liam.
Oh, R word.
Are we not allowed to say that here?
Well, if you weren't R-worded, you would know that.
Right.
Yeah, I fear that was rhetorical. Like, Liam, how are you going to come back from that?
Okay, yeah, I was going to kick him.
Liam should be able to drop and come back, and he should be fine.
Yeah, he's good.
Anyway, we're back. My fault. Look, let's just continue down this toothpaste example, right?
Okay.
Okay, so I grant that. People.
You're not going to grant it to me. You're going to admit that.
Yeah, that's what fucking admitting is, dumbass. I continue the line of reasoning.
Yeah. So only we can't justify induction with any rational proof because it's not logically necessary that the future resembles the past, and there's no empirical proof that would justify.
Sorry. Is your argument something like, in order to solve the problem of induction, God must exist?
Yes.
Why would I accept that premise?
Well, because Bertrand Russell. I mean, he says the same thing. Where like, there's no.
I'm just looking for an argument, right? I'm just looking for an argument right now.
Yeah, because humans cannot. It's not possible for a human to solve that problem.
Why would I grant that?
That's what Bertrand Russell said.
Yeah. Okay. You know what Bertrand Russell also said? You're gonna get really fucking surprised when you hear about his cosmology.
Do you think we can solve the problem of induction?
Sorry, you made the claim that if the problem of induction is solved, then God exists. I'm asking for the argument for that.
I'm saying that God's revelation.
No. Sorry, this is new. What you did say, right? You said multiple things. One of the things you said that you're now moving from is that because the problem of induction is solved, God exists. Now, I want an argument for that.
The argument is that due to human limitations, we can't solve the problem.
Why would I grant that? Like, sorry, what is the argument for that?
I told you, there's no rational proof.
Yeah, that's the assertion. That's right. That's the assertion I'm asking an argument for. So can you provide an argument to defend the assertion?
Well, I just don't want to. I'm just not going to talk to you anymore.
I believe you. You don't want to talk to me because I'm exposing you as the intellectually dishonest fraud.
You're not doing it. Yeah, okay, if that's what you think.
No, you're obviously a fucking fraud. You're a fucking you're a liar. You're a piece of shit.
I'm the fraud. Clearly.
Yes, you're a fraud.
Okay, hypocrite.
Do you think that God intended to design you with a rational faculty so that you could use it in this way?
Do you think that he like designed you and that you're doing something good here by being on this panel, act like a fucking moron? Do you think that like when you fucking meet him at the pearly gates, he's gonna like smile and be like, yes, you did such a good job with that rational faculty I endowed you with? Or do you think alternatively he's gonna laugh at you and humiliate you in front of everyone else because you performed so fucking poorly in this conversation? What do you think he's gonna do?
Sorry, how are you speaking? Can
sorry,
you
that was a sorry. That was a yeah, sorry.
Oh,
Sorry.
That
was a question. Now you're asking. Sorry, I want to answer my question. Sorry, I would like is an answer to my question. Right? When you on Judgment Day, do you think you're gonna be judged poorly, or do you think you're gonna be praised by God? Which one?
Bitch, you don't need hell. What the fuck is you talking about?
Can I get an answer to my question, Mars?
Oh, I'm just gonna make fun of you in the chat.
P. Mars did too well in this conversation. That was really important divinity.
Julian should take over for P. Mars's view.
I don't think Liam has any grounds for intelligibility. He's not.
He also can account for intelligibility in the world. So.
Yeah.
How do you ground intelligibility in your God?
What's crazy is you're speaking to me as if you don't have 50 pounds of fucking fat on your neck, because I can hear it in the way you speak.
Bro, that shit was not rhetorically appealing, y'all.
You're doing really bad in these conversations. I'd recommend you start reading some philosophy. Start with like Frege, and then move on to like Bertrand Russell. I'll give you some recommendations if you DM me.
Thanks, Jambar 11. Oh, this
what's wrong? Wait. My argument's not sound. How is it not sound?
No, what's ironic is
how's my argument? What's wrong with the argument?
Which fucking argument? Which incoherent ramble are you wanting me to talk about?
Yeah, facts. I forgot.
Was that argument sound? Oh, that argument's most definitely not. No, that argument's most definitely not sound. That argument is most definitely not.
Does anyone want to challenge the argument?
I did. You ran away.
No, you just like acted like a.
You said I'm gonna tag out of the conversation because I'm getting blown the fuck out in front of all these people. That's what you did.
So is
talking about does anybody want to rejoin the argument?
Are you giving up?
You're running away.
You're giving up?
Provide an argument.
Can y'all just like kiss or something, or keep debating? Like, what's
I made an argument.
Mars, what I'd like for
you want to respond?
Sorry. What I would like is I would like you to respond to the rejoinder I made to your argument.
That was a while ago. He doesn't remember that rejoinder, Liam.
Don't respond to my argument. I think.
Hold on. So look, let's do a quick. I'm gonna help you out. Let's hit a quick prayer, and maybe God will distill the knowledge of how to respond to my rejoinder. Okay, well, let's get a quick prayer. And are you hitting it? Because it's a private thing.
Hail Mary, full of grace, the Lord is with thee.
All right, Mars. I'm hoping that you just got divine revelation from your Lord and Savior, so that you could perform well in the conversation. Now, please, can you please rejoinder my statement? Holy shit, okay, are you still praying? No worries. No, God works in mysterious ways. I understand sometimes it takes a little bit. Just pipe up whenever you're ready to provide. Just pipe up whenever you're ready to provide a response to what I said.
He already responded to what you said. You didn't have a response to you.
When you talk, it proves the Christian God because you're using unifying descriptions of reality. Right. So what accounts for unity on any level in your godless model of realities from which you could use unifying descriptions of reality?
Is this question supposed to be a supplementary argument for premise one?
Got him.
No, you didn't. What you got?
Atheism is done.
So P. Mars, is that like a defense or premise one or what?
Just pack it up, Liam. You're not looking good in this conversation.
Yeah, I'm about to touch you, Julian.
Okay.
Anyway, but
Amdir, can you help Liam out?
Who let this Julian guy up?
I got a question. I got a question for
Liam out, Amdir.
Yeah. Okay.
Liam doesn't.
Anyway, so
divinity ideas.
Actualizes unity.
So one second. So divinity. Would you affirm that knowledge is certain? Like knowledge is that which you could not be wrong about?
Like it's indubitable? Like does it have to be infallible?
He's asking if you're an infallibilist.
Yeah,
no,
like,
I'm not an infallibilist.
So then knowledge is something that could be like 99% or 80% or like 1%.
It doesn't have to be infallible. I grant that.
Well, like in my view, that would be like an inadequate like definition of knowledge, right? Because if there's nothing we can have certainty about, then we're just kind of giving up on the question, right? We're not really
by inadequate. You just mean it's like how you define knowledge as.
Like certainty doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if we can know like the apple's on the table.
If by certainty you mean infallibility, then I don't think that's a condition of knowledge.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be problematic not to have infallible knowledge.
What would be the problem?
It's crazy not to. That's right.
Why was that?
What is the problem in accepting a view of knowledge that doesn't stipulate it has to be infallible?
Because you have no certainty. Like you can't know for sure.
Like the problem, like you're just saying the problem.
It sounds like the problem with being an infallibilist is that you're not
an infallibilist. Yeah, that's not a problem. Like, what if I said, well, I don't really like your account. It's a little too ambitious. I think the problem with an infallibilist account is that it's infallible. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just define the term problematic to mean not your view.
Okay. Just to be clear, Christian, like it's not that certainty doesn't matter, but it could be someone's proximity to certainty, or your credence levels.
It's not a
proximity
condition.
to certainty.
Look, most accounts of knowledge are just going to include that it's a belief, and you can believe things with all kinds of certainties, probably. I mean, right?
All right, that's right. But to my point, like, why, what's the problem?
Yeah, I mean, just without certainty, you'd have no ground, and everything would just be like probabilistic, and yeah, it'd be a problem. But okay, so I guess
by problem, I just want to clarify. I just want to clarify. By problem, you're like defining it in the true. Problem just means not infallible.
I cut out.
Yeah, you cut out, Liam.
I'm just clarifying that by when you say it's a problem, you're defining it in like the trivial way you did earlier, where problem just means not infallible, right?
I mean, like, do you think it's important, like, to have access to the actual state of affairs, like, to have access to ontology, like the true nature of being?
I think people can. I think people can have access to states of affairs without being infallible.
Okay.
So being fallible does not mean that being fallible being fallible does not mean you don't have access. Being fallible just means it's possible you don't have access, right? You can have a belief that's fallible and actually have access, right?
All right. So like, how do you have access to like ontology, the true nature of being?
Are you asking for like my theory of justification?
Like your epistemology, like your theory of knowledge. What's your theory of knowledge that allows you to have access to the true nature of being?
I don't really have a. That seems like more of a question that would deal with things like direct realism, indirect realism.
Yeah, I was about to like. I mean, if you're asking about my theory of perception, I can give you that, but I don't see that's all too relevant. Presumably, there was you were trying to ask about certainty because it goes to your point of believing in the Christian God or something.
Yeah. I mean, it's related. It's related.
Is this like Descartes' argument, or what is the relation here?
Yeah. I guess I'll talk on something else, and then we can go back to that. All right. So, have you ever done anything bad in your life? Yes. Okay. So you've done bad things, right? I've done bad things. For all have sinned and fallen short.
I'm not using the term sin, by the way. I'm just saying I've done bad things.
All right. So you've done bad things. All right. So when you do something bad, do you do it against a model that emanates from your mind, or do you do it against the being of God, right? God who is good, holy, righteous. And
what do you mean by emanates from my mind?
So like, immorality is an ought statement, right? You ought not kick puppies into the ocean. You ought to be kind to orphans and widows. And so it's either like subjective, which would be that it like comes from like your mind or my mind, or the objective, which would be that it's like external to your mind or my mind. So
I think that's kind of a in the context of like whether or not an idea is subjective, that's kind of not really, it's kind of a false dichotomy. Like typically when people use the term objective, they're not saying like, oh, well, this idea that you have, the idea is in your head, and your mind, of course, it's the subject's mind, right? So it's subjective. Like if I present if I go to a court of law and I start giving arguments, right? Like, yes, all the ideas are in my head, but the fact is that the arguments and the ideas adhere to reality. That's what makes them objective. It's not whether or not it's in my head, per se. It's really just how my thought process was conducted that makes something objective. So I mean, if we're talking about, what's called morality or whatever. I mean, morality, yeah, it's an idea, right? Same with math, same with everything else, right? These are ideas. But the ideas aren't necessarily subjective in the sense that they're arbitrary. They're like just simply made up. They're made up on the basis of evidence and reasons and whatnot.
Okay, so they're made up on the basis of evidence and reason, but you're saying that they're made up. So if they're made up, they would be like a construction, right? Like a construction of, your mind or my mind.
Construction based on evidence and reason. That's right.
And evidence and reason would be descriptive and not prescriptive, right? Like, we could look at someone booting puppies into the ocean for fun, and so that's evidence, but that's not necessarily prescriptive, which is you ought not kick the puppy in the ocean. You should not do this, right? So
that's evidence of atheism, right? When they kick a puppy, that proves atheism.
Yeah, well, that's something different. But yeah, so basically, when we speak about morality, right, we're talking about like what you should do, what you should not do, what you ought to do, what you ought not to, and so that we're saying, where do you get that from? Where do you get you should and should not do something? Like, is that from you?
Should and shouldn't are concepts that human beings invent to serve the purposes of living their life according to some goal. Yeah, I mean.
Well, I mean, the thing that I'm interested in is I'm interested in what bridges are you willing to cross? What bridges are you willing to burn?
I'm telling you.
How much of your humanity? How much of your humanity are you willing to sacrifice?
Yeah, how many sacrifice a lot of these
on your journey to hell? right? That's what I'm
Okay,
trying to ascertain. Is
okay, yeah, I get the rhetoric. That's very very rhetorical. But look, the point though is that okay, I told you where I think the source for should and ought come from. Now, what's your response to that?
okay, so you believe. So I guess you're basically telling me that morality is subjective. That's like it's.
I didn't say subjective. I told you there's like when we're speaking here about whether or not an idea is objective or subjective. Like we're referring here to like the by what process was the idea formed, right? There's a difference between believing someone is a killer because you just feel like it and believing someone's a killer because of evidence and reasons. Okay, so I think morality is one of those evidence and reason things. It's objective.
All right. Okay, so you would hold subjective. Okay, so then. All right, yeah, so I guess here's like an example. Right? Let's say if we were to see someone kick a puppy into the ocean for fun, would you say that's good, that's evil, or that doesn't matter?
I think most of the time it's evil.
All right, well, we can specify the situation, right? Like, no one is holding your family hostage, right? No one, the puppy isn't like trying to attack anybody.
All else equal or something? Yeah, I think that's evil. I agree.
Okay, yeah, okay, yes, it's evil to kick the puppy into the ocean. All right, and so why is it evil, right? Is it evil?
Couple different reasons.
Because like God created the puppy. Right?
Yes. Well, no, you don't want to use that reason, right? Because presumably you think you can eat animals too, right? So that's not going to make sense.
Why it just sounds like a normative question.
Yeah, you're just asking me about my normative ethical theory. You're not getting at the groundwork behind moral statements, right?
Yeah. So is it wrong? Like
I'm just telling you, my answer to this question does not turn anything in the conversation because I might just change my mind.
Does he mean to ask, is it objectively wrong to pick the puppy or something?
Yeah. Is it objectively? So I guess
I could say that, but it's suppose I give an answer and I explain my answer and then we consult the reasons and the evidence and we see actually my reasons and evidence are bad. There's reason and evidence for a different view. Like that's not going to change the metaethics at all.
All right. But yeah, so you're saying that there is objective morality, right? So there's something objective, something external to your mind, external to my mind. All right. So what is it that's external to your mind, external to my mind, that is good, that is pure?
This is false. It doesn't follow from accepting a kind of realism that you're necessarily accepting like non-naturalism or something like that. That doesn't follow. Like I don't have to say that there are inherent properties and those properties are good. Like you can be a realist and then maintain that goodness is a kind of as like a natural relationship among things. You don't have to maintain that it's like some feature of an object independent of you. Like goodness is somehow present or badness is somehow present in the object or something.
So goodness is all right. But what do you believe? Like what do you believe is the case?
I'm a naturalist. I think good and bad, they're just relationships that things have to you and whether or not they advance your life. That's what I think.
All right, so relationships that things have to you and whether or not they advance your life.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and who defines advancement of life? Who defines advancement?
Do you mean like who identifies it, or are you saying is the fact created? Like is it arbitrary? Like what are you asking? Because individuals identify the facts, but I don't think the facts are man-made. I don't think human beings chose to like have it so that like when you smoke a bunch of weed you become really stupid afterwards. That just happens. Right?
Yeah, like so with regards to advancement, some people maybe they'll say if I replace more of my body with robotics, like replace myself with metal, that's advancement. Some people might be like I should implant animal DNA in myself, become a chimera. Some people might be like what I really need is to go into virtual reality, right? Go into the virtual world and just give up this body altogether. So what really is advancement? Or someone might reject all of those things altogether. They'd be like, never stick Elon's brain computer inside.
The abstract standard for advancement is leading your life towards a long-term enjoyment, right? But I mean that can take many forms, and it might be relative to the person, right? Different people might have different requirements because of what they are to have that life. But none of that stuff is relevant to the broader point.
I mean, I guess what we're trying to get is like, what is perfection, right? What is perfection? What is the perfect standard?
I just told you.
boring.
I just told you abstractly. I just told you the abstract formulation, but none of what I just said turns on the theism stuff.
Wait, ask a Christian. How would you react if somebody bonked you over the head with a rolling pin?
Probably be unconscious.
Oh, okay. I was just curious.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see, like you get the point, right? Both that I made and that Mason just made.
Okay. All right. So we're trying to say what is like perfection and that sort of thing. All right. So what? Yeah. So you said the goal is like human improvement. So who defines what human improvement is? Like
I literally just covered that.
All right. So who defines it?
I just told you. By defines, do you mean who identifies, or by defines, do you mean who created the fact? Because the fact's not created. The facts are what they are, and human beings identify the facts. I already said this.
Who you're saying who creates versus who identifies?
Reality, and it has identity, and then there's people, and we identify. So,
yeah, I guess how would you know that facts are not created?
Because facts are facts.
Maybe facts might be created by other facts. Like I might grant, you know, there's time and shit. Yeah, I agree. This stuff creates other stuff. It's not subject to humans if that's what you're asking. Because you say who, you're implying like some kind of personal like human being made a fact because it's a fact. I don't grant that. Like just in virtue of there being facts, I don't grant that there's a creator in the sense that like there's a design or something.
Yeah. So could it be the case like in your worldview that God exists, but he is like a hidden God, like a hide and seek God?
What does God there mean?
Like a being that has set everything in motion, placed everything to appear as they are, but he hasn't like spoken to people or said anything.
So like under this model of the universe naturally exists, and God is like a thing in the universe that participates in it and like moves stuff.
He would just. Yeah.
Okay.
So like atheist.
I mean, you just described an atheist worldview, so I mean, sure. I mean,
Right,
I might have more nuanced problems with it on other grounds, but like if we're limiting the conversation to in virtue of being an atheist, yeah, I mean, yeah, of course you just gave me an atheist model, so of course I'm not gonna have a problem with
that. Okay. And then could this God also be like a prankster God in which he tricks your eyes, tricks your ears, tricks your sense of taste or sense of smell?
I don't know what it means to trick my sense of taste. I don't know what that means.
Well, basically to show you something that's not actually there, right? To make it like, okay, there seems to be an apple.
I don't know what that means. I don't think when you say you're acting as if perception can somehow be an error. I don't know what that means for perception to be an error. Perception is not like a belief. It's not like capable of being true or false. It's not like wrong or right. It just is.
Just is.
Perception is not doxastic.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, basically, what I'm bringing up is Descartes' demon, right? So Descartes' demon is his philosophical experiment, just saying, hey, what if God was like a prankster and a trickster? Right? He's trying to trick you or trick me, feed us.
I'm familiar with Descartes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, I understand Descartes' whole process. The first thing is it kind of goes into your first question, like establishing methodological doubt. Like I don't grant that knowledge requires infallibility. I don't grant that. I have no issue with foundational beliefs being fallible. That's the first. So I'm not a strong foundationalist. That's the first thing I think Descartes gets wrong. Oh shit. Yeah. Also, I mean, what you just said there, I don't.
Okay.
His reasons to doubt perception. What you just said there, I don't.